Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet Malhotra. Hello and welcome to NewsX Deep Dive. In the warm waters of Vietnam's picturesque Quoc Island, a routine pleasure trip turned into an unimaginable nightmare. A speedboat carrying 32 Indian tourists and 4 crew members capsized in the afternoon of 11th July, just 400 meters from shore near Hon Me Rot Nagoi Islet. Out of the 36 on the fateful boat, 15 people, all Indian nationals including 13 men and 2 women, lost their lives. What should have been the joyful end of a holiday excursion became a scene of chaos and heartbreak as passengers struggled in the waves. 21 others were rescued, many shaken and injured, but alive to carry the weight of survival. These were not adventurers seeking danger. They were ordinary men and women, parents, spouses, siblings and friends from Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. They were part of a company-sponsored trip, a well-deserved break from daily routines, a chance to create memories far from home. They left India with excitement, suitcases packed with expectations of turquoise seas, laughter and stories to share upon return. Instead, their families now face empty chairs at dining tables, unopened luggage and futures forever altered. The Indian Embassy in Vietnam acted swiftly, releasing the list of victims and coordinating with local authorities for identification, medical care for the survivors, and the solemn task of repatriating the deceased. And Vietnamese authorities are trying to ascertain the cause of the incident. Yet for the grieving families, technical explanations offer little comfort. Their pain centers not on how, but on the irreplaceable who. With that, let's try to take a look at the stories of some of the victims who were killed in the tragedy. Among those lost were Vinay Kumar from Tamil Nadu's Vellore. Colleagues and relatives describe him as a man who worked without fanfare, poured his energy into his family and approached life with steady calm. He had traveled to Vietnam simply to unwind, to step away from responsibilities for a few precious days. A final conversation with loved ones carried no warnings, only ordinary affection. That silence afterward now echoes through their days. Meanwhile, in Andhra Pradesh, the Geli family of Machilipatnam endures a double burden of grief and fragile hope. Jelly Jayalakshmi, remembered as a gentle and respected woman whose warmth touched her entire community, perished in the accident. Her son Akash had spoken with her the night before. Another routine call filled with the easy rhythm of family life. No one could have imagined it would be their last exchange. Her husband, Geli Kishore, survived but remains in intensive care with serious injuries. One parent's gone forever, the other fighting for life, and the family now navigates visa formalities and travel and arrangements through tears, pleading for swift help to bring Jayalakshmi home for her final rites. Avicot Cherian Thomas and Laveni Thomas from Kerala were another couple whose return was eagerly awaited. Their family counted the hours until his flight, planning welcomes and shared meals. Those plans dissolved into urgent appeals to authorities for assistance in repatriating his remains. A journey meant to conclude at an airport terminal was instead ended in a funeral pyre.
Jomanasan and wife went for a trip in the last week. That was in Vietnam. Yesterday at 6:30 we had a news. Actually, we got the news at 2 o'clock. We heard that nearly 15 people passed away and 32 people totally in the boat. Actually, the first time we are not recognized these people, but 6:30 we heard and shocked news from that. That was Jomanajan and wife is passed away. That was very shocked.
From Tamil Nadu came several more whose lives revolved around family and simplicity. Algurajan Sivaswamy was a man whose world centered on his loved ones. This holiday represented a rare chance for togetherness. Now, those anticipated memories have been replaced by an aching void that neighbors and friends struggle to articulate. Meanwhile, Muruga Prabhu Arumugam left his family anxiously monitoring updates from Vietnam. Each ring of the phone brought alternating waves of hope and dread until the devastating confirmation arrived. The long wait for news ended, but so did every future plan they had nurtured. These visuals on your screens are from his home as his family grieves his death. Let's also talk about Sheikh Abdullah Abdul Majid, who had spoken with visible excitement about the trip before departure. Like the others, he sought nothing more than peaceful days by the sea. Those enthusiastic conversations have now become treasured, fragile keepsakes for his loved ones. This next picture on your screens is of Sridhar Sundarajan, who was known as someone who consistently placed others first, a devoted family man and reliable friend whose steady presence will leave us daily silence in the lives he touched. The full list of 15 includes additional names such as Senthil Kumar Jayavel, Balaji Nathisan, Ravi Sankar Sugamaran, Santosh Kumar Shantilal Jain, Babu Kupuswamy, Nallapeta Ravi Teja, and others from the affected states. 10 hail from Tamil Nadu, all one underscoring how deeply this tragedy has scarred specific communities across villages and towns. Homes that prepared festive returns now host mourning gatherings. Children ask when their parents will come back. Parents stare at photographs of sons and daughters who will never walk through the door again. Suitcases filled with souvenirs and clothes worn on sunny beaches remain untouched, painful reminders of uninterrupted lives. But no official response can restore what has taken. Tragedies like this remind us of life's fragility. Only unexpected wave, one ordinary afternoon on the water, and 15 vibrant stories end. Behind each name lies decades of effort, early mornings at work, late nights helping with homework, quiet sacrifices, shared festivals, and ordinary love expressed through phone calls and small gestures. 15 futures dissolved into the sea. 15 families must now learn to breathe in a world without their anchors. The survivors carry not only physical recovery but also the psychological burden of having lived through the terror while others did not. As the bodies make their final journey back to Indian soil, communities across states will gather in shared sorrow. Temples, churches, and mosques will offer prayers. Colleagues will recount fond memories. Neighbors will bring food and silent companions. Yet the deepest grief remains private, measured in empty beds, missed calls that will never come, and the lifelong question of why them. Professor Anil Gupta, head of ICAR's IIT Roorkee, National Disaster Management expert, is joining us on the broadcast. Sir, appreciate you being here with us. I hope you can hear me, sir.
Yes.
So, we pretty much are accustomed to something like this happening in India all the time. Something like this happened just a few days ago in Madhya Pradesh. It's also happened in Banaras just a few months ago. Obviously, the loss of life is extremely profound and painful. But the fact of the matter is, how can accountability be ascertained of these 15 people?
I think this is a very critical question, and I was also wanted to refer to the Jabalpur Bargi dam tragedy that we had witnessed in India a few months back. And this tragedy is almost of the similar kind. And if we see the prima facie, some issues, one is that the sudden, the strong winds start appearing. This is a new phenomenon that is being observed not only in India but many other countries also. So this is very important, that how do we adapt fast to learn to understand new challenges, and how do we react to that. I think this is also very important. I think I recall that 11-12 years back in Delhi also strong winds were there and there were a lot of damage. Then for next few years there were no such kind of incident. Then suddenly these kind of incidences we are observing with more frequency. So this is one, that climate change, or whatever we say, that the weather extremes. So this is the era of sudden weather patterns. So there are likeliness that we are not able to understand much in advance. So we should be ready for the sudden changes. Second thing, that whatever safety protocols are there, how really we are following. Because in this case also, in Jabalpur also, we have seen that some of the passengers It appears that they have not been wearing their life jackets. So how the safety protocols have been followed in toto. And third aspect that is also very similar, that the boat itself became containment, so that when the tragedy took place, the people could not come out and they got inside in the sinking boat. Same in Jabalpur also, same here also. So I think it requires to seriously look at design of the boats, the operational procedures, and the punctuality or the accountability, and the third, the personal behavior. It was totally an Indian lot of passengers. We also need to investigate the issues with how do we follow the safety protocols, and in that kind of environment, how the operators behave. Why the safety issues are relaxed maybe on the request of the passengers, or whatever. So these are the primary certain things come to my mind. But this is really a very, very tragic event, but not an isolated event. I would say that these kind of events we are observing almost on regular basis, in particularly in past few months or so.
All right. So also from you, how is this process going to work now? You know, the body is coming back to India, and what kind of help and assistance will be expected of India once these victims are cremated in the ongoing investigation? Isn't that a complicated process?
I agree that it is a little complicated process, because the disaster management law within the land may not necessarily apply to these cases, because this disaster has taken place on the foreign land. And how the tourists are treated in the Vietnamese land when they are affected in any kind of disaster. So one is that process, and second, how our own countrymen, when they face these kind of challenges in the soil outside the country. But Government of India is very sensitive, and including even the states also. The states and center work in close coordination, particularly in such cases, and we are already observing that coordination. But the reality is that the person's life have also already been lost, and many of the other tourists, their co-tourists are still struggling for their life. So this is very important, but I'm sure that the government is working in very good coordination with the state and the central government, and we are witnessing that also.
Sir, appreciate you joining us. Thank you, sir, for being with us. We'll take a short break. Be right back.